Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is John. I'm a filmmaker slash creator and your host for Make Lemonade podcast, where we talk about how to change our circumstances when life happens. In other words, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Today, we're talking about kindness, contribution, and humanity, which I believe will make us better humans. What's going on, everyone? I'm super excited that you're here today. I am pumped. I am ready for this podcast today. And I'm super excited because today we're talking about kindness, contribution to humanity. This is something about, it's something that we all need in this world. And the reason why I say that is because there is so much out there of negativity that really we need more kindness. Have you ever just had somebody on your best day, you're happy, you're excited, and you're ready to just, give all this love to everyone who you know, and then all of a sudden you have this person who comes out and really just ruins your day, right? I've had many days like this, and I'm pretty sure you can relate to that. We've had our good days and we've had our bad days. And every single day we have things that go on in our lives, but we have the choice to do something about it. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about how does kindness contribute to humanity? How does it make us better? How does it really pushes us to be better humans and treating each other and treating others, not just in our own species, but also animals, plants, and this world that we live in. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Now, for our first point, we're going to talk about be kind. This is a very simple topic to talk about, but yet it is something that at points we forget. We forget what kindness can do to us, with us, and those around us. It's super important to be kind to others because, first of all, if you look at the laws of the way people work and the way people are, you don't know who you're talking to at some points. You don't know who they are. You don't know if they have issues going on. You don't know if they have a mental problem. You don't know if they have personal problems. I mean, you have several issues that go on within the human race that we don't know about. And there have been many cases of people not being kind to someone, and boom, something happens, right? And one of the movies that I just saw with Russell Crowe, one of his new movies, is where he is actually this person that is I guess like he has some issues. The movies that I've only seen it one time, so I haven't really gone back to really look at it. But the point of it is that he warns the person that he's talking to when he cuts them off, and he tells them that there's a certain courtesy when you are behind somebody, which is called the courtesy honk, where you honk twice real quick, just to let the person know that, hey, the lights are green, because maybe they're daydreaming or for some reason they don't know the lights are green, and it's a courtesy honk. But yet, the lady and her kid in the car, the lady is like so caught up with payments and trying to take her son and being responsible, trying to take her son to school and being responsible with her own life and her own kid, because in the movie it seems that the kid is more responsible than the mom. And so the mom has all these things happening, she can't do them, and she's having a big issue, and through that she doesn't have inside of her that kindness to really be like, you know what, maybe I went overhand, I'm having a busy day, I apologize for rudeness, and so on and so forth, right? When you see the movie, you're thinking about, like, you know what, there's a point, right? But be kind is what I'm trying to be here today. If you see several parts in movies, this is one of the places that I really see how things happen and how they can really turn into something really bad. And it happens with not showing respect to someone. And this goes within kindness, and kindness and respect go hand in hand, because when you don't give that kindness to someone, that repercussion or that ripple, which I love to say because I really consider that in part of a life and everything that we do, every decision that we make, every choice that we make, it is a ripple to what happens around us. Okay? Every decision, everything that you do on a daily basis is a ripple. And this, I mean, everything that I've talked about on this podcast is something that is super important as humans to really take into consideration, because if we don't pay attention to the ripples that we make, it only becomes something that if we procrastinate on fixing it and we don't ever fix it, it only becomes clutter, and clutter becomes chaos, and chaos just becomes the destruction of one. And so this is why I'm saying it is important. It is important what ripples you give in your life. There's only two things that we can give in our life, and that is life or death. And it's black and white. I know it's black and white, and it's a little aggressive. But what I'm saying with this is that you can either put something, and let me put it in this point. You can either be negative to someone, or you can be positive to someone. And that is where kindness comes in. You can either be kind to someone, or you can either be mean to someone. There has been, in many cases, especially something that's going on in school a lot, and that is bullying. Being a bully in school only causes people to really look at themselves and think that they're not worth anything in this world. And that's why it's important for us to be kind, because that ripple goes into someone's self-esteem that may not be strong in who they believe they are, haven't even gained that confidence to be who they are, and then you have somebody who becomes a bully or somebody who's mean and just ruins their day after day, and that ripple keeps on building and building and building until something happens. And yes, we may not see it right in front of our eyes that we caused that situation, but that situation has been building from day to day to day, as the person who is being being the victim is only being weakened and weakened and weakened until there's no more. And that's why I say what we have to give in this world is life and death. And that's why it's very important to be kind to one another, to show that respect, because they go hand in hand. Alright guys, so for point number 2 is this. Kindness is not weakness. And the reason why I say this is because it's something that I believe in both male and female, both girl and boy, both men and women. I believe that when we see kindness to a certain extent, we think that it's weakness. And especially in a man's world, we think that if we show too much kindness, that people are going to take advantage of us because it's something that exposes our weakness, and we think that if we're not machos, if we don't show our egos, that we're going to be overrun and taken advantage of. And that's something that goes everywhere, even with myself. And taking myself as an example, some of the things and challenges that I face on a daily basis, because what I want you to know in every process that we make and everything that we do, it's a daily base challenge. It's a daily base. You just don't get rid of something because you're not thinking about it. And this is a thing that we have to remember about our memories. It's a thing that we have to know about the way that we think as humans on our mind, and knowing our humanity and how kindness contributes to it. Remember this, that in our memories, they never go away. Think about it this way. When you have a memory, it's put in a storage, like a computer, like a folder, like if you're saving something later in your attic or something. It's a storage. You don't know it's there. You forget about it. You think you forgot about it, but it's just in your memories. You don't think about it, or unless you come about either a smell. I don't know if you've ever done that when you come to a restaurant or you go to maybe like the store, and all of a sudden you get this smell and it just brings a memory back to you, and you're like, wow, I remember this. I remember when I ate this. I remember the smell, or the smell reminds me of this. As humans, we go through that because there's different things that trigger our memory with either smell, noise, a sound, a taste, something, that really brings us back into a memory that we have stored. So that's why I'm saying with this that kindness is not weakness, okay? Because when you put a kindness out there and you're showing somebody kindness, it's not weakness. And let me go back to myself as an example. When I go about to places, and let's say I'm trying to find somebody to or get a contractor to do something in my house, right? And I go in and I'm showing kindness, right? And all of a sudden I feel like the person who is talking to me is trying to take advantage of me because I either sound young, I either don't sound like I don't know what I'm saying, or I'm asking too many questions, and they're thinking in their side that I am not saying something that I don't understand, or whatever the case may be. In my head, I start understanding, or the way they start coming across to me is as taking advantage. So I feel right away that I need to be direct, that I need to be a little more aggressive, that I need to be this. When it comes to any situation that you are in, it is important that you stand your ground. First of all, stand your ground. Second of all, don't lose what I like to say, composure. Don't lose composure. And this is one of the things that I see a lot that happens, and the difference between and I don't want you to misunderstand this, but this goes about with the way people are educated. And I see this in my area a lot, where people who are less educated really have a quick temper and really get offended quicker than a person that is more educated would get offended quicker. Because all of a sudden everything comes back into the head of like, I'm getting offended of this, I'm getting offended of that, you're going to call me this, and right away you want to fight the person. Versus somebody who's a little more educated thinks about what's happening in the issue, how can they fix this, is it their fault, is it the other person's fault, am I going to let myself be talked down to, and they try to figure out a way to come across to an agreement, or at least come down to a diplomacy. And this is not an overall view, right? This is just some of the things that I've seen in my own personal life. And I realized that the most important thing is to keep composure of the way you're being. And because once you lose composure, you lose yourself, and you're not thinking straight. And this is how accidents happen. Somebody gets aggressive, somebody gets angry, and when you get angry, you lose control, you don't think clearly, and you do things that you're going to regret later. So it's always, one of the things that I've learned from the Bible is this: when you're angry, do not sin in your anger. And that is super important. And as it may seem as a sin, you can think about the things within the sin. You can think about, don't do something. Don't go about and go and take things on your own self. Don't get back on somebody, because this is how kindness really contributes to humanity. It lets us communicate. It lets us really live longer, because we're not being angry. We're not, constricting our hearts and just pushing that pressure and really stressing our face and stressing our body to get angry, to get ready to attack. And instead, we're showing kindness that will produce amazing chemicals within our bodies that will, give us a positive area where we're in, a positive ripple to our lives and those around us. And even in that, we're not endangering our own lives, we're not endangering the lives around us, which is very important. This is how kindness contributes to humanity. It helps us live in peace and harmony. It teaches us that we are to be nice to each other. It teaches us that we are to respect each other. It teaches us that we are to, forgive each other when somebody has wronged us. And this is super important. And this is why I always seek peace in wherever I'm at. There's areas that I do get angry. I'm human. I'm just like you. I'm human. I do get angry. I do get upset, the proper word to use, right? I do get upset over situations that may not favor me, or it may be something that I may feel I'm taking advantage, someone's taking advantage of my kindness. And this is why composure is super important when you are in kindness. Because you need to assess the situation. You need to see what's going on. And this is where communication comes hand in hand. Because when you're seeing the situation, you're seeing what's going on, you're able to see where the person or the subject is coming from, or the individual is coming from. And you see the reason of why they're doing things. Because one of the things that you don't know is, where are they coming from? What are they doing that it's making them do what they're doing? And that's why listening carefully to what the words they use, how they use it, and the tone that they're using it is very important. But it's also important to not to lose composure of being kind, because you need to assess everything that you have in order to react. And your reaction should be with what you get. Alright, guys, so point number 3 is kindness gives room to self control. This is something that, I even posted it on my Instagram account, and it's about a man who is kind benefits himself. And this is super important because, if believe it or not, when you are kind, it gives you the ability, the opportunity, the capacity, the strength to have self-control. And it only benefits you. It only benefits you. Kindness, how does it benefit you? How does it benefit humanity? Being kind, okay, first of all, being kind only benefits humanity. Being kind. How does it benefit? How does it benefit humanity? Well, this is the way it benefits humanity. When you have self-control as a person, it's a very positive thing. Very positive. Because now you control what is, for sometimes it's gluttony, let's go into that section. It gives you self-control on what you eat. It gives self-control on cutting off that area. Maybe, we gluttony over food, or maybe we gluttony over money, and then we become over ambitious, and we just, start taking instead of giving. And one of the most beautiful thing in our lives is, it is better to give than to receive. And the reason why I say this is because when you give, it blesses you. Okay, and this is what I'm saying with it blesses you. When you give, it is something that you are investing, or something that you're giving yourself apart into someone else. Whatever you did to hard work, whether it be money, whether it be food that you are giving to someone, you are giving a part of your time, you're giving a part of who you are to help humanity become better, to help humanity be better. And this is why self-control is super important, because it helps you and it guides you in the direction that you should go. Having self-control. And this is what kindness opens opportunity to. When you're kind, you see, you have the area in your life to really look and observe what is going on around you. And that is super, super important, because when you're able to see something, right? When you're able to see something far ahead, you're able to realize that life is worth living. Life is beautiful. Life is so amazing when you have kindness living there. Okay? And this is why I want you to think about this. Kindness lets you be friendly, lets you be generous, and best of all, considerate. And this is why it gives self-control. because you become considerate of others. You become considerate of how others are doing. And one of the things that I always say to people, and even I live myself, is give with what you can give. I believe sometimes we give believing that we can give more, and that's perfectly fine. But the reason why I say give from where your means are from is because you don't want to put yourself in an area where you are suffering and hurting yourself. But give from where you believe. Okay, give from what you know you have, and then you believe in giving, and then you are literally planting a seed somewhere that that you will bloom as time passes by. So this is why it's so important. It's better to receive than to give. It's better to go out and show kindness to people than for you to demand kindness, than for you to ask for kindness. Because sometimes it happens. This is how kindness contributes to society. When you give kindness, you're creating an atmosphere. You're creating something. So many times we go into a place and we want to be treated a certain way, right? But yet we don't treat those people the way that we want to be treated. And it's a big saying that we heard in elementary. I've heard it a lot in the Bible, and it's treat others as you want to be treated. Right? It's like the golden rule, and it's so true. It's so true. And when you go to a place and you don't see people are treating you a certain way, right? Yes, it's good to stand up. It's good to to say something, right, when people are not being treated correctly. But the part here that is very important is to treat others the way you want to be treated. Create that atmosphere. If there's no one treating anybody well in an area, then you be the person that creates that atmosphere of treating others the way they should be treated. One of the things that I love to do when I go into every area that really freaks people out, if I'm in an area and I'm contributing with either be by my time, whether it be by the things that I do with filming, I always like to bring something. Right? If I'm working with a crew, I always bring something without asking, without telling, and I always bring to them. Why? Because from my point of view, I'm considering their time. I'm considering their time that they're spending in that area and with me, or even listening to me, and I can take that on to consideration because they don't have to do those things. They're not forced to do it. They're here because on their own will. And that is the beautiful thing about kindness. It lets you be considerate. It helps you contribute to others and create an atmosphere that is going to create a ripple. Again, the ripple. I just love talking about this. The ripple that will go into everyone else. And you know what happens when that ripple and atmosphere is created? It actually goes into everyone, and you start seeing everyone do the same. Whether it be because they want to prove that they're better, whether it be this and that. The thing is that you created a ripple that in their hearts they were touched with kindness. They were touched with somebody who was nice to them, with somebody that showed them happiness, that showed them greatness, that showed them something that they've probably never experienced in their life. But kindness is super important because most people want to take advantage. Most people want to see where your weaknesses are at, and so they can use that, right? If for example, take work for example. Some people take advantage of people because they're in a position higher and they want to tell others what to do, and they want to run their lives, and they feel like they're the people who are running their lives. And in reality, it is the person who is in the position of a leader that is serving the others, and not the other way around. And so this is why kindness is so important, and the contribution to our humanity, and we should not lose it. We should not go about and just forget about being kind and think it's weakness, think that it's not necessary, because it is very, very necessary, and it will take us further as humans than what our biggest desire to keep going in humanity. We thinking that technology is going to take us, but actually, if we have technology and technology takes over, we don't have a world. But if we have kindness and we care for one another, we have a world that exists out of kindness, and that will take us further. Alright guys, so we have reached the end of the podcast. I am super excited that you were here to listen to kindness contribution to humanity. And I believe that it's going to make us better humans. I believe that it's going to make us better partners, better friends, better husbands, better wives, better co-workers, better bosses, better leaders. This is why I do it, because I believe that the words that I'm saying is going to benefit your life. I believe that the words that I'm saying are things that I apply to my own life, and every single day I challenge myself to do that. Challenge yourself to be kind. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's a simple thing, do it. What I'm saying, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to be kind, because not everyone is kind. But if we start on our own, we can change the world one person at a time, and that is ourselves. If we change ourselves and we create that ripple, we create that atmosphere, we can make this world a better place. And there's more strength in being kindness than in being mean, ugly, and horrible as human beings. We go further together than what we would do individually. So that's what kindness contributes. It brings us together. It makes us consider. It creates friendships. It creates an atmosphere where everyone has an opportunity to grow, where everyone has an opportunity to exist in this world without being, mistreated and just looked down at. And this is what kindness gives us. It gives us hope. It gives us life. It gives us a chance to really have the opportunity to self-control ourselves as humans and move further together. So guys, I hope that you were encouraged. I hope that you were motivated with our podcast today, and I can't wait for you to hear our next podcast next Tuesday, and we're super pumped. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we'll see you next time.